Welcome back. Mosley has taken his coat off, and maybe we can use that as an opportunity to get his badge, which we might be able to use to convince that butler to let us in so we can talk to Malia Gedde. But I doubt we can just take the badge.
Mosley wouldn't let Gabriel mess with his coat.
So we need to get him out of the office. Remember, we already know a way to get him out of the office.
Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
We can ask him for coffee. I wonder if there's any updates to the case, though.
What's the status on the Voodoo Murders case?
You're as filled in as me.
None, it seems. So, let's just ask for coffee, which will hopefully get him to leave.
How about getting me some coffee?
What am I, your slave?
Pretty much.
Hey, I'm working my butt off here.
Yeah, fine. Some people are never satisfied.
Alright, now we have to be quick.
I think I'll just borrow this badge.
Hey, what are you doing with my coat?
Nothing. I thought I saw something crawling on it.
Just drink this.
Thanks. Tons. I mean it.
Alright, now badge in hand. It's time for us to leave again. Alright, go back to the Gedde estate, of course. Let's hope we can trick that butler into thinking we are Detective Mosley.
May I help you?
Oh, we can ask we can do the magazine subscriptions trick again. Let's try that.
I have a fine selection of magazine subscriptions for sale. We do not welcome solicitors.
Oh well. You'd think he'd be suspicious after that, but this is still an adventure game, so no.
May I help you?
More soliciting options? None of them work.
I'd like to see Malia Gedde, please. I'm sorry, but unless you have an appointment or official business, I cannot announce you. I do have official business. Really? Please tell me the nature of your business.
Or a police officer. Really, believe me.
My name is Detective Mosley. I'm here on police business. Really? How interesting. Wait here. I'll inform Miss Gedde. Miss Gedde will see you. Right this way. Miss Gedde will be down shortly. Thank you.
Wow, this is an impressive place.
What can I do for you, Detective?
Well, we'd like to talk to you. Let's look around a bit first, though.
Romantic.
I like firelight, Detective. I like firelight.
Beautiful women. They must be relatives.
They are.
Gabriel's being his usual charming self, I see.
Roses and gardenias give the air a sweet taint. Harvard Classic, Homer, Virgil. Maybe Malia wouldn't be impressed by a signed copy of one of Gabriel's novels.
Nobody would be impressed by that.
Modern art?
More or less. It's a Picasso.
Expensive. Wait, are we sitting on a lion skin rug?
The Gedde library is as well put together as Malia herself. Classy, rich, flawless. Your creed. Genuine lion skin.
I can imagine doing things on that rug.
Excuse me?
Oh, nothing.
Keep your cover there, Gabriel.
Ming Dynasty, perhaps?
Wouldn't surprise me given the rest of the stuff here.
Nice statue, I like it.
Thank you. It's The Rebellious Slave by Michelangelo.
Damn, you don't go for cheap, do you?
Harvard
Ah.
class.
Alright, let's talk.
This is quite a place.
Thank you. It's been in the family a long time.
Isn't it hot in here, by the way? It's hot outside and we're sitting next to a fire.
Done anything exciting lately?
I'm sorry, but I'm very busy. Can we get to the point?
So, what's new with you?
Nothing that would interest you, I'm sure, Detective.
Alright, let's just interrogate her.
Mind if I ask you a few questions, Miss Gedde?
I assume that's what you're here for, Detective.
Well, that, and he just wanted to see you, basically. Of course, the important thing here is Lake Pontchartrain. But, let's ask about some other stuff, too. A flirt with her, that's gonna end well.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? Why would you want to know about that, Detective? It's rather silly, isn't it?
There's nothing silly about the Voodoo Murders.
But that voodoo is faked. That's what I've read in the papers.
That's what the papers say, all right.
But you're not convinced?
No, frankly, I'm not. The police department isn't known for its imagination.
Oh. Well, I can see that your imagination is considerable.
Is that a compliment?
Are you sure you can't tell me anything about voodoo?
I really don't know much about it. Isn't there some place in town that you can find out about that sort of thing? A museum or something?
I believe there is a museum.
Then maybe you should check there.
Right, maybe we should check there. After all, isn't Dr. John supposed to be back today? Oh well, we'll go there later.
What do you know about the Voodoo Murders?
The murders? Only what I read in the papers.
And what do you read in the papers?
I'm sure you know much more about it than I, Detective.
Is she getting suspicious?
What do you know about the Voodoo Murders?
The murders?
And
I'm
tell me about your life in New Orleans.
The Gedde family came to New Orleans in 1800. We worked very hard to get where we are. On the other hand, we've done a lot for this community.
I can believe that. You're doing a lot for me right now.
Right, very subtle.
Tell me more about New Orleans.
I'm afraid I don't get out into New Orleans society much. Because of the Gedde money, we have slots in the best country clubs and on the best Mardi Gras courts. But I must admit, I hate it. I avoid actually making an appearance unless it becomes absolutely necessary.
I know about those courts. They're very exclusive.
Yes, especially when it comes to people of my race. That's why we don't turn down the appointments. It's a rare opportunity to rub their noses in it. But that's not where I spend my time. I have more important things to do with my life.
That's admirable. Many women would love the chance to get caught up in that kind of life.
I'm not any kind of woman you might be familiar with.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah, I think she's a couple of levels above the usual sort Gabriel hangs out with.
Tell me more about New Orleans.
I don't know what else you want to hear, Detective. Anything you might care to know about my public life you can easily look up in the papers.
Alright, how about snakes?
Do you know anything about snakes?
I'm afraid I quite abhor them.
who doesn't? Well, quite a few people don't actually. Anyway,
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I believe it's some sort of local holiday, but I don't know much about it.
alright.
Do you have any idea what Cabri Saint-Gar means?
No, I don't. What does it mean, Detective?
That's confidential information, ma'am.
In other words, we have no idea.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
No, I'm afraid I can't help you with that, Detective.
Tell me about yourself.
I suppose I don't really have a choice. What do you want to know, Detective?
What kind of things interest you?
I don't have a lot of free time, but I do appreciate the arts. Opera, symphony, ballet, fine art. If you look around, you'll see that we collect African art, for example.
Yes, it's very beautiful.
It is, Detective. It means a great deal to me.
Yeah, I can see why you're trying to hit on her, Gabriel. You have absolutely nothing in common.
Do you have a career?
A career. Being the head of the Gedde family is a 24-hour-a-day job. We have many holdings and many responsibilities, financial and otherwise. The management of our business affairs and properties leaves me with time for little else.
Poor little rich girl?
Believe it or not, Detective, wealth does have its price.
I'll have to take your word for it, because I certainly wouldn't know.
Tell me about your family.
The Geddes? We're a very private family.
How many people are there in your family?
Well, my mother just passed away.
I am sorry.
So am I. She was a magnificent woman. We were very close. I was an only child.
And your father?
I never knew him.
It's hard to believe that any man would leave a woman like you. Or like your mother must have been.
He did not leave, Detective. But that's really none of your concern.
I'm sorry. Go on.
There are, of course, other Geddes in the city. I have a large, extended family.
I see.
I think Gabriel has some personal interest in this question.
Do you have a husband? A boyfriend?
I'm very independent, Detective. The women in my family have always preferred it that way.
So, you've never been married?
No, and I never will be.
What about children?
Yes, that is likely. Someday.
That's interesting.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
I do a lot of charity work around the city, primarily in the prison and reform system. I'm not a professional sociologist, but it does interest me.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
I have a business degree from Vanderbilt. I wanted to study psychology, but my family's interests came first.
Oh? Why not something like law, then? Surely that would have been an asset to the family.
Law? Please, I do have some morals, Detective.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
For the record, I'm 28, Detective.
That's an interesting thing to volunteer.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
I have a few friends. A woman in my position can't really afford them.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
I try to stay away from the media as much as possible. Last year there was that story about John Kennedy Jr. and I. The phone didn't stop ringing for weeks. I prefer to keep my private life private. I would appreciate it if you would keep my name away from any public association with the police, Detective.
Of course. I'd like to hear just about anything.
I do a lot of charity work around...
I wouldn't know where to begin.
As you wish, Detective.
Okay, well, we'll ask her about the murder scene at Lake Pontchartrain in the next video.